Okay, here we go.
It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dirt Talk.
Welcome.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
You look pretty good for a...
Am I on? I'm good. How are you?
you had a long night last night.
long couple days.
Dart Talk brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts. Disclaim before I get in trouble.
All right.
I'm liable to irritate
away.
some people. Yeah.
The views, opinions, rants, and rampages expressed on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect individually or collectively those of our sponsors, co-sponsors, wannabe hosts, hearing-impaired critics, or those with a penchant for attitudinal dysfunction. We at Dart Talk strive to provide you, the listener, with an educational, entertaining, and fun-filled experience each and every week. If after the show you, the listener, find yourself feeling uneducated, unentertained, and or bored, we at Dart Talk consider that your own problem.
And we wish you luck with that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Another Wednesday.
It is.
A lot to talk about.
As always.
Well, we're going to start out talking scandals a little bit, just because, to be objective and fair, I mean, we're kind of ripping on the deflators in Boston.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So, I mean, we had something a little close to home that we can talk about real quick. I want to talk about trap games.
Mm-hmm.
And cricket finishing, and also how to adjust your play for your partner.
Right.
I don't know if we ever covered that. I
don't think we did.
I actually wrote an article about this for Bullseye News, and then found out they weren't going to be publishing it. So, I mean the magazine.
Right.
So I never bothered to send it. So I looked up some of my notes on that. We can go over that. Had an interesting.
You keep your notes?
Well, some of them, the ones that are legible. We had an interesting conversation last night. So I didn't post the link.
With the Phantom throw?
Yeah, in defense of the Phantom throw. Mm-hmm. We had somebody defending it.
Yeah, well, you were asking him why he does it.
Yeah.
You're just asking him some questions to find out his mental reasoning.
I tell you, every time I get in conversations with people, I mean, it's like... They get upset with, they get like emotional and upset.
Well, they get defensive because
they get very defensive.
Well, yes, because you come across, as the conversation goes, you come across as, I want to know why you do this, but yet I'm going to prove to you that you're an idiot.
I don't go into it like that. I'm just trying to understand their thinking. And some people, when they explain it, I don't really feel like they're explaining it enough for me. So then I ask follow-up questions. Which isn't what you see in normal media. Normal media, you'll ask somebody a question and they'll give you some ridiculous answer, and then you move on to the next question.
Right.
They've had their say, and the viewers can decide. But if I'm talking to you one-on-one, then it's the Socratic method, right? I ask questions.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And it can be annoying.
And then you bombard them with questions, and they start getting annoyed.
Well... Yeah,
because you don't accept their answers. What happens?
It's not that I don't accept them. It's like I just want to comprehend.
That's how they feel.
They do. I come off that way, and I don't mean to. That's not where I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. I am really trying to grok this. That's a technical term.
Really?
Excuse me. I am trying to grok this. I think that's from Stranger in a Strange Land or something.
This is Huntsville in the background, correct?
That is Huntsville in the background, and I believe you can see the hotel. That they're hosting the Rocket City Open this weekend, which I'll be attending, hopefully. Can't wait. Looking forward to playing with Mr. McCool.
So we will delve into
we'll delve
your
into that.
conversation about the Phantom.
And you were there. I mean,
I wasn't.
So
there.
hopefully you remember it better than me.
Well, I left about halfway through. I couldn't take it anymore.
It was a 3. It just
'Cause
started going around.
Well,
in a circle.
everything kept repeating itself.
Yeah. So you got out in time. Premier League picks. I came close to picking the draw.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do the Premier League picks and we'll preview tomorrow night's.
Did we even write down our picks? I don't remember who I picked.
I think I remember. I just don't remember if we took Van Barneveld or Lewis. But I think we were both.
We took Lewis,
we were both on the same one there. You took Anderson and I took the draw.
Right.
And then I don't remember if you took Bunting and I took Wade. It doesn't matter because that was a draw. So
right. Which I think that's the one I said could be a draw, but I didn't take it as a draw.
Yeah. Well, see, you should always go with your first instinct.
But then, of course, we both took MVG.
Yeah. Well, he rolled along. Mm-hmm. He had a good weekend. You could look down in the crawl. You'll see he swept the UK Open qualifiers. I didn't see Sean Narain's name there. I thought he was posted that he was going to go play. I didn't see him in there. And then 3 weeks in a row now, we haven't talked about these cash league structures.
What are those?
Well, it's the structure of a money league.
Right.
How you structure it.
How to do it.
Or how you should and not.
Okay.
Should not, that kind of thing. So let's start out with the scandals. Let's get this over with because it's very distasteful.
Somebody says you better make it to Huntsville.
Oh, yeah, I'll be
Wreck-It
there.
Ralph.
I'll be there. I can't wait. I love playing with Ralph.
You just said hopefully, and now he's calling you on your hopefully.
Well, because you said literally 10 seconds before the show started, hey, Friday's Friday the 13th.
Well,
and I'm immediately like, oh, great.
Yeah, it's my favorite day.
So scandals. So for the people that don't know, I'm pretty sure we talked about the Jackie Robinson Little League Baseball. They won the U.S. Championship, and then they lost the final to it was Taiwan or Japan or something. Japan.
I don't remember which one.
They were pretty good.
I think it was Japan.
Yeah, and they had the girl that was throwing 70 miles an hour, Moni Davis.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like a real feel-good Little League thing, and I feel like even though like I got accused of being a professional darter last night, I mean I don't really think of dart players as professionals per se. I mean, outside of a couple of guys, everybody's got a day job and stuff like that.
Sure.
So at the part-time, whatever. I mean, however you want to characterize it, I don't really care. You feel better calling yourself a pro, be a pro. I don't care. You know what I mean?
You would classify it as being a master, I guess, because that's.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how people are pros because somebody decided to call it the pro list. They could have called it something else, and then we wouldn't have this semantic argument that pops up every 6 months. It's just really tiresome. But people, if you want to call yourself a professional and you take pride in the sacrifices and the time and the effort you put into the game, and you've achieved whatever level of expertise, that's fine with me. I don't have a problem with that. I don't consider myself professional. I mean, it's not enough action. Not playing Monday through Friday. I mean, playing on the weekends. So, but anyway,
it's a hard profession.
How did I get on that?
It's a hard profession to have.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, if you look at the tournaments that we have, there's been accusations of hometown draws, and there was a big dust up last year, and then there was one the year before. Oh, they're rearranging the tickets in the bracket, this, that, and the other thing. Here you've got this Little League team that basically said, well, we want this guy, and tried to gerrymander their own map, and then after the fact go to the leagues whose territory they poached and say, hey, sign off on this and agree with us that this is our territory now. And
that's what's coming out now. I mean, they got stripped of the title, and they got, everybody's saying,
well, they got stripped of the title. The kids got stripped of the title. The district manager's been removed. The coach is suspended. The team is suspended until they straighten all this stuff out. I mean, it's a big scandal.
Yeah.
And it's the thing that really bugs me is the horse has left the barn. The kids have already gone to the White House. They already played. And you were saying, we talked about this once, Ben Johnson cheated.
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest scandals. I think the Ben Johnson Olympic scandal was bigger than Lance Armstrong because everybody knew.
Sure.
Everybody knew the bikers were all doing all sorts of stuff. But what happened with Ben Johnson was, he won the race, set the world record, got the gold medal.
Went on the podium, everything.
Went on the podium and everything. And then, they catch him, they kick him out, he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what? They send Carl Lewis a gold medal by Federal Express. I mean, it's not the same thing.
Next day air.
So this magic wand deal where it's like, okay, like Joe Paterno, you've lost 150 games that you've won.
And then they give back.
And then we wave the magic wand again. No, now you've won them again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all dumb, right? It's like these kids in Vegas. Did they win? Would you take that trophy?
No, and I don't think in Vegas they're taking it anyway. But yeah, I mean, what's the point?
It's better than like what Arachnid did with Dave Cameron that year, where Dave won everything. He's a top-rated player in Canada, and they let him play as an amateur. I mean, they should have done something about that, and they ended up doing nothing. Well, okay, I don't buy. But waving the magic wand...
They don't go back after the fact and strip him of his title because they realized, well, we didn't seed you right.
They didn't do anything. They said, welcome back. This year you're a pro. Okay, fine.
But, yeah, I agree with you.
I don't know what you're supposed to do.
I wish there was... better checks and balances in effect that it could have never happened. I mean, apparently, from what I heard, is that another district had already complained about them to begin with, even before the Little League World Series started. So somebody should have looked into it and they should have figured it out before it went.
Well, what they did was apparently what happened was, and this was also after the fact. They said, "Well, where's your map?" And they're like, "Well, here's the map." Mm-hmm. That no one had signed off on. They just kind of drew it up themselves. They drew up a map that included all their players, and Little League was like, okay, well, looks good to us.
Yeah, I mean, people are like, you feel bad for the kids. I've had different conversations with people. Some people think that the kids they knew, because they said when you're 11 years old, you know who the best players are around, and you know whether you're going to school with them or not. And so, I mean, I don't know whether that's true or not, but so
it depends.
Do the kids know? Do they not know? I'm not saying that they're held accountable for this by any means, but I mean, did they know that they were trying to put the best team on the field that was going against the rules? Who knows?
I mean,
it's just ridiculous. So at what point does how much do you have to win? You're a 35-year-old coach of a little league team and a director and you have to go and try and do this for what? To get on ABC?
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, it's like, I'm sure stuff like this has gone on, but it wasn't that big a deal until ESPN decided that, they were going to fill, 40 hours of programming within 2 weeks and put these kids on TV. Okay, it's great for the kids, but now, look, it's like the basic scientific experiment rule. Yeah, nice way to explain it. By observing, you affect what you're observing. Right? Mm-hmm. You put cameras in front of these kids, and now the coaches are trying to be stars and, trying to kickstart a career as a motivational speaker or something. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of the umpires look awfully enthusiastic calling a strike. It's tiring. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, strike one is fine with me.
Yeah, because I don't think any of those little league umpires are going to be moving on to be college umpires and maybe the pros one day. Maybe that's what their goal is. I don't know, but... Yeah.
When you look at the ideals that the organizations are trying to foster, right? Sportsmanship, above all. It's not really about winning and losing. It's about sportsmanship. That's always kind of how darts was sold to me. Right? It's about sportsmanship. It begins and ends with a handshake, la-di-da-di-da.
Or a fist bump or whatever.
Yeah. So
too many fist pumps in my mind, though. I mean, geez, let's get over that.
I think our volunteers, by and large, do a pretty good job as far as, the tournaments go. I mean, there's some suspicious stuff that happens. I don't know. I'm not back there. I don't know what's going on. It's just sort of like it would be nice if it was always that way. Some people are just always going to, try to fudge stuff, try to, get an edge somehow.
Yeah, that's always going to happen. It happens everywhere.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's why there's rules. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like the old joke, like, well, you're on the freeway. How do you, and you need to make a U-turn. What do? You look for a no U-turn sign. And then you can make a U-turn there.
Right.
I mean, so I don't know. It was just kind of the whole magic wand thing. I mean, Like I've seen tournaments where the brackets got messed up or something, and it's like, well, so what are you going to do? Say the guy didn't win? Mm-hmm. You're going to restart the whole thing because you don't really have time? I mean, there's no good solution. But the magic wand thing is like it. Let's say Jerry Umberger won a tournament, and it turned out he wore X-ray glasses.
Right.
So what are they going to do? Send the trophy to the guy that came in second, like a year later, and say, "Hey."
Once they figure it out,
what does that do?
Do an investigation, figure it all out, and then here you go.
Yeah. So it comes down to basically, the better your organization is, the better the volunteers, the better off you are. Mm-hmm. Right. Obviously, these people kind of had some misplaced priorities, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I would think so.
Did the kids know?
I mean, you said that, and I didn't realize that last year that they, made it to the championship game to get to the
they were one game short of the World Series, and I guess they figured they needed some help, and hey, check this kid out, I guess, And then Mark Mulder's over there saying, oh, there's always been rumors. Mm-hmm. He played against them 30 years ago or something, and there were rumors then, and I'm like, cheating at Little League. is like cheating at online darts. People complaining that people cheat on online darts. I was going to bring that up
because it was like standing from 3 feet away.
What is wrong with you? This is your idea of fun?
Yeah,
this is your prank.
And what's your point? Yeah,
I don't know.
I was going to say that about 2 minutes ago.
I don't.
That's
know.
what I was going to equate it to. It's like throwing for 3 feet away in online darts because you can't see me.
But here's the last thing, dart wise that we could take off of this, because I basically said, if it wasn't for the fact that ESPN was putting these people on TV and everything, maybe people wouldn't be so motivated to.
Yeah, but what's going to happen then? You want darts on TV?
Well, that's the thing, because if the thing that keeps darts honest on TV is gambling,
mm-hmm.
See, it's a very weird deal. What drove technology in the 60s was the space program.
Well, gambling happens in other sports. It's not honest. There's scandals and cheating all the time. People throwing games.
There's some match-fixing thing in soccer. There's not been anything in football. There's been no accusations about American sports.
In football?
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't heard of point shaving in football or even in college.
Basketball. College basketball. Plenty of times.
Because it's easy.
Yeah,
there's only 5. Sure. You only got to. If you got 2 guys, it's 40% of the team.
But that's the point being, though, is
53 guys on a football team, and the quarterback won't go near it.
It's happened in tennis.
Oh,
but
did it?
That's not American. That's international. So I mean, but
I'm just saying that when it comes to darts, because there's so much attention by the punters. Is that what you call the gamblers? There's so much attention by the gamblers. Yeah, you got to read like James Bond books and stuff.
Okay.
Actually, there's a movie called Croupier. I think I heard that
I'll
term.
Google it.
Yeah. It's on Netflix.
Oh,
I think.
All right.
You totally. I lost my train of thought.
Well, we should take a break anyway.
Let me finish the point.
Okay.
Because the scrutiny of the gamblers is what keeps everything kind of on the up and up. Is because there's very interested people watching, not just casual fans. Mm-hmm. There are people that are, like totally into it. Plus, all your sponsors are bookmakers. Mm-hmm. So if there's any sort of hint or whiff of impropriety, it's going to hurt their bottom line. So it's weird. The money hurts in one way, but here the money helps. Mm-hmm. As far as keeping things
in that aspect,
on the up and up.
we just have to be able to gamble on Little League World Series, and we'll be fine.
Okay. That's why I wanted the disclaimer right off the bat. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. We're going to talk about trap games and some other stuff. You're listening to Dart Talk. Mystery Mark, Steve Panonsemo. We'll be right back.
The views and opinions expressed on Dart Talk are those of the hosts. They in no way should be misrepresented, misinterpreted, or made to claim that the universe is against you, your family, your city, or the darting community at large.
Okay, back for the second quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Trap games. We could start with this.
Please.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you. You know what a trap game is? No? Okay.
No.
A trap
I'm
game.
Trying to think what your, I'm trying to think what your definition would
my
be.
definition of a trap game is a game that you're really totally expected to win, but there isn't anything to win. You know what I mean? I mean, like the Hawks are like a 7-game road trip. They come back their first night and they're playing Phoenix, which is like one of the worst hockey teams there is right now. And they had just smoked them, like, I don't know, 6-1 last time they played them. And I'm like, this is a total trap game.
Right. Well, I would say, I would. My definition would be more like the looking ahead towards your next opponent trap game. Like, so you don't necessarily.
Okay.
This is a team you should beat because we're in, or a guy you should beat in darts, whatever. Because guess who you get to play if you win, or in a baseball tournament or whatever.
Yeah, a trap game.
You look at the bracket and kind of map out.
A trap game in darts would be like you go on the road, and in the first round you play somebody that is from your hometown that you've beaten, 19 times out of 20.
Right.
That's a trap match.
You're already looking at the bracket to see who you're playing
You
next.
really have – your opponent's got nothing to lose, and you have everything to lose, right? Because you're expected to advance, and that guy isn't, or that girl isn't, whoever, and it's a weird – you end up getting more pressure on yourself.
Oh, sure.
Well, so we had a trap game last night, right? We're playing like our buddies in the a tavern down the way, and the tavern owner is on their team, and he comes in there, he's calling me out to play 301. I'm like, what, are you kidding me?
Right.
I'm like, oh, please. So I mean, it was kind of weird, but that song, My Hump, My Hump, My Hump. You don't know
I
that
do
one?
not.
Okay. Well,
did it win a Grammy?
I was gonna do like my lump, my lump, my lump, and show everybody the lump, but it's gone now.
Did it win a Grammy?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't even. We played Sunday night. They had the Grammys on. I didn't recognize anybody.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I was kind of up there. You kind of look. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know who that guy is. So I'm kind of out of it.
So what was our trap game on
playing Murphy's?
Oh, the whole match in
the whole
general.
match was a trap match
sure.
because there's no way. I mean, we would be so heavily favored. Like the spread would have been like 7-2. Or the spread would have been 5. Well, no, we didn't cover. We definitely didn't cover. I mean, we managed to win,
match,
but we didn't cover, and we didn't.
No,
play
yes,
very well,
we would have been. We would have been the 14-point favorite that wins by 3.
Yeah,
is basically what it was.
Yeah, our record against the spread is probably we're winless.
Abysmal.
Yeah, we're. Well, somebody said who's the best team in the division, and I'm like, well, it's us. We just haven't proved it.
Yeah.
We can come close to proving
I
it.
therefore said, which means that us stinks.
Well, I mean, I was having...
I'm a major part of that stink.
Well, now, we've been chronicling your struggles. I mean, how'd it go last night?
Oh, it was... My singles match was awful. I mean,
OFFAL.
We played Sunday night, and I actually threw pretty good,
Yeah, we went out Sunday night.
We had a good practice session Sunday night.
I thought you played.
And I was throwing probably as well as I've thrown since I gave up the game, and it did not transfer into
a
competitive match.
Yeah,
and I got there early Tuesday night for darts, and you showed up a little later than me, and we were early, and we warmed up, and I kind of struggled warming up a little bit.
Yeah, you were tight,
but I was before you got there. I actually was throwing kind of well, and then you got there and we started playing, and but anyway, so it equated to my singles match was abysmal. I lost to a guy literally that threw a 3 and a 7 in the same 501 leg, and I lost.
It was painful.
I'm sorry, he threw a 5 and a 7. He threw a triple 1.
That was painful.
He threw a 5 and a 7, and I lost.
Yeah,
And I missed
painful.
umpteen darts at the 2 and at the double 2 and the double 1, and he gave me just as many opportunities to miss those umpteen darts at it. But I played better later.
Yeah, you did.
Joe and I played, and we won, and I played. I mean, he threw really well, but I contributed enough that it helped. And then
should we talk about how I chalked?
We could talk about how you.
So okay, so here's it's been a long. We've been at this place for hours now, 3.5 hours.
It turned into a party more than a dart match.
Because we kind of it's the one team that we kind of know everybody, and so
you're
got a little casual.
The love of your life's on the other team, and my sister.
Right. Yeah. So it was kind of funny. So the last game of the night is 501 doubles. You're playing with another guy on our team who's really been struggling.
Yes.
And I'm up there chalking, so I'm not allowed to say anything, right? So I'm just sitting there, and you went 135, 125, 125 in your first 9 darts. And your partner threw, 26, 11.
I wasn't sure. And
really
I know,
not much, like 26, 41.
Right. At one point, they threw a ton 40, so they got him back into the game because my nice 9 darts was not good enough. All of a sudden, when they threw a ton 40 and something else.
Well, yeah, they don't get paid too.
Right. I missed it. So
I'm chalking, and your partner's coming up, and I guess I'm kind of a
We're
jerk,
now on double 4, by the way.
You're on double
or double 2. I'm sorry.
You're on double 4. Yeah, you're on double 4, and I literally turn around and I tell your partner, my teammate, I'm like, look. Your partner has thrown 389 darts or points this leg. If you don't hit this is on you. And then I turned back around,
which was kind of funny. I don't even know if their team, the guys we were playing, knew what to say on that one, because obviously you're not supposed to talk to the dart player.
I know, but I'm up there chalking like this guy needs a kick in the butt,
and it actually worked.
And he actually hit it.
He ended up hitting the double 2, but. I
felt bad about that. Like when I woke up the next day, I was like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
About that leg is as well as I threw for those particular 9 darts, I was part of the cause of us to get to double 8 because I missed tops. Eventually we got to tops. I guess my partner left me tops is what happened, and I missed it and left him 20. And then he missed a 20, and I missed another out. By then they've now crawled back in the game, and that's when you turned around and read him the riot act because.
Well, I didn't read him the riot act. I was just sort of like, stating a fact, like I was commentating the match, which I kind of do in my head anyway. As I'm chalking, there's nothing else to do, and I'm kind of like, is there a cover shot coming? And I just kind of look down. I'm like, no, these guys going to learn.
26 again.
So I don't know. It was I don't know. It was kind of interesting, but
I don't know. I guess in the long run, to summarize my league last night would be it was awful, but I showed more potential than the last couple weeks with the more practice that we've had, and it's a longer process than I was hoping. Is basically.
I just think it's mental. I just think that you're putting pressure on yourself. Like, oh my God, I'm playing for real now, and everything starts clenching.
Well, that's what I was telling Joe. One of the things is that the concentration level. That even though I'm playing, I'm concentrating against you because I know how difficult it is to beat you, and I want to beat you when we're practicing. I have a concentration, but that there's a different concentration level when it's actually for real, which you wouldn't think there would be.
Yeah, I'm thinking that you should lose that one,
right?
Because it's just another game.
Because I used to not have to do that. I used to just go up there and throw, and everything kind of went in.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, it's like if you just go pick up your darts and just not thinking off the top of your head, put them in the board, and they fly good.
But it's the same thing. You get to a point where, when you're working on things in practice, and we've talked about this, once you get up to the game, you can't think about it. You just have to throw. But when things don't start going in, all of a sudden, the 6.
Yeah, when you start
going
trying
nuts.
to fix it on the fly.
But it's the same thing. Last night you weren't playing well.
Oh, I played really poorly.
And I gave you one little tip, and you played one of the best cricket matches you've played in because the guy was firing right back at you, and you had an over 1,000-point cricket match, and you just kept going and answering him like literally in the middle of the second leg. You won the first leg, lost the second leg. But in the middle of the second leg, you were down enough, and I kind of noticed one little thing in your throw, and you threw well the rest of that leg, but lost. And then the third leg, you just
I was pretty far behind.
You were just, he was
It
matching
was it was weird. See, I don't know. I think it was physical. I think I've been practicing, and I think I kind of wore myself out a little bit.
Oh, that's possible. Too.
We played for 4 hours Sunday night. I went out and played 4 hours Monday, and Tuesdays things weren't like folding correctly. It was kind of weird.
Well, we played for 3 or 4 hours on Sunday, and I went to the board Monday night at like 12 o'clock at night when I was working. The first 6 darts I threw, I didn't think I was even going to get my arm extended. I was like, oh my, because I haven't thrown that 6, that many darts in that amount of time frame, and wow, was I stiff?
The hardest dart for me to throw is the first dart in the morning on Saturday after I've played like a singles and a blind draw Friday night, because I never know. There's been a couple of tournaments where it hurt so bad to throw that first dart. Mm-hmm. I walked to the board and kind of just threw like this, like from 2 feet away, and then just grabbed them and threw again. I'm like, oh my God, I need Ben Gay or something. I was that
Tiger
tight.
Bomb.
So it's always like, I on Saturday I'll just hold the first start and I'll just kind of close my eyes and be like, I hope this doesn't hurt, and then I'll throw it. And then if it doesn't hurt, I'm like, oh, cool, that didn't hurt.
Apparently, according to Hickory's, I got a 90% mental and 10% loud pants.
I don't know that the loud pants didn't help Peter Wright in the Premier League. Well, we'll get to that. He's
saying maybe I should try that. Maybe
that's
pants. The 10% that's going to get me over the hump, is I think what Hickory's saying.
To quote a famous Canadian world champion who shall remain nameless, I think it was in Montreal or something, and he's just like, when all else fails, drink.
Yeah.
I've never I don't know if it's good advice, but it was memorable. Okay, so I want to talk. There's 2 things. How much time we got?
We need to break before you start the next segment.
I want to talk about the cricket thing and the other thing.
When
we come back. No, when we come back. When we come back, we're going to talk about finishing cricket games and also adjusting your play to suit your partner. We'll put it that way. That's not really what I mean, but okay. So
we'll find out what you mean.
Yeah, stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Volume.
What volume?
On
that volume?
Yeah, that volume.
Let's try that again then.
Dart Talk agrees to adhere to the Geneva Convention in treating fairly its prisoners in their war against lackluster darting administration and behaviour.
Okay, back for the second half of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. I'm going to do the cricket thing first.
Yes.
Well, because so here's the situation: you're playing the cricket doubles. Player A's like a highly ranked player, and player B is not. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Player A goes to the line, needing a fat 18 to get a 2-point lead, and then 3 balls.
Correct.
To win the game.
To win.
The other team has 118, so they need 2, and they have the bullseyes closed.
Everything else is closed.
They have the bullseyes closed. So what did Player A do? Player A shot the fat 18 to give himself a 2-point lead.
Mm-hmm. 2 darts in his hand now.
No, he's got 2 darts in his hand. He needs 3 balls. He throws 1 in the single ball, right? And then throws his 3rd dart at the bullseye and misses.
Right. Going for the the shot to win.
Well, that's his game
shot. The hero shot. The hero shot of a double bowl to win the game.
And then the other team needed what?
2 18s. Walk up there, 2 18s to
So
win.
then he didn't get the lead with the 118 then. They
No,
would
he had
have
to.
needed.
I'm sorry.
They would have needed. They would have needed a single ball.
That's right. No, I'm sorry, but they needed
and
1
2
bowl and
18s.
2 18s.
Right.
Right.
All right. So refresh my memory.
Which was
now.
not difficult. For
So
them.
your game shot is a fat 18 and 3 balls.
Mm-hmm.
So you're already behind because the other team's game shot is
They're
a
up
single
16
ball
points. Yeah.
and 2 fat 18s, which is relatively routine
Mm-hmm.
and well within the capabilities of both the players you're playing against. So you've got a situation where player A's like probably the highest ranked team of the 4, but his partner is the lowest ranked team of the 4. This happens a lot. You get this in blind draws all the time, where you get these kind of a team with 2 guys that are about the same, and then a team where one guy's clearly better than his partner, right? Now we talked about it earlier, and I was like, under no circumstances would I have went at the bull there.
Right.
I would have guaranteed myself a good game shot.
Yeah, if you hit 3 fat 18s, you're up 38 points.
Well, no, you're up 50.
Well, they went up 2 with the first.
Oh, 38.
They were down 16. So you're up 38 points.
So now they need 2 bulls
and 2 doubles
and 2 doubles.
Singles. I'm sorry,
okay.
2 singles.
Which,
But if you trip it
on your first dart,
then I could see maybe going. Well, I mean, you could really. I guess one of the problems is from what I gather, and it's just my own opinion, is the guy that was doing this, his partner was the lesser of the 4 players, and he was getting frustrated, and he figured this was his only shot to win the game. When in effect, though, if he could go up there and 3-5 mark the 18s, the next guy following him was the lesser of their 2 players.
Okay.
And so I think he figures, well, he's going to have to face that guy, then his partner has to go, and he probably won't hit anything. But he could have he could have had him throw. His partner probably wasn't going to hit any bullseyes, but he could hit 18s.
Well,
I've seen him do it.
You never
playing better,
right? You never know what somebody's going to hit, but you have to assess, and this is kind of why I thought this was like kind of a good illustration. You have to assess what your partner is capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. And he's more capable.
And don't ask him to do something he can't do.
He was more capable of hitting 18s for points. If you could have gotten the lead and stretched it to
an
him
18's way bigger than a bull.
Yeah.
Way bigger.
He could have stretched it to getting to him and throwing more points to keep the lead increasing, to give him 3 clear at the bullseye.
You're already down a leg.
Right.
So, I mean, if you lose this leg,
it's
you
over.
lose the match.
Yeah.
So you've already got 1 foot in the grave.
Right.
Right? Your partner's been throwing you a shovel, right? I mean, your partner is struggling.
Yeah.
So if your partner is struggling, how can you make it easier on him and take the pressure off him? See, this is what I've been trying to explain to people lately about cricket, especially cricket, is cricket's all about putting the pressure on the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you put pressure on somebody when they're ahead of you? Well, it depends. In this situation, the only way you could have done it was pound on 18.
Is get ahead.
Yeah. Well, and try to get a lot ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, if you park one in the 18 and it feels good, then park another one in there,
right.
and then your partner will be like, yeah, whatever. Go ahead, throw at the Bulls, throw at the 18. I don't care. I'm going to come up with a decent game shot.
Yeah.
What you're trying to do is come up where,
right.
I need 3 bulls and 3 darts.
That's what I was trying to say.
Right.
He had the possibility of turning it over all the way back to him through 3 other dart players if he would have just pounded the 18s. Even if he would only hit 4, he could have turned it over possibly to him to get a decent game shot as opposed to the game shot that he went for, which was very difficult.
Well, you got 1 dart in your hand and you need a double bull, or you die. Who wants to be in that situation?
Right, and then you give a relatively easy game shot.
Very easy.
To the opposing team, which obviously
I
think
what happened in this game is like the next guy came up and hit the bull, then his partner came up and whiffed completely.
Yes.
His partner came up, whiffed completely, and then he just needed 2 fat 18s to win. Mm-hmm. So player A never came back.
True.
Right?
He never got the opportunity.
So
and he never gave himself that chance to come back by falling off.
See, I've been criticized. In Chicago, I don't really play blind draws anymore, but in Chicago, when you play blind draws, it's usually Chicago format. It's 301, 501 in cricket. Mm-hmm. You can only play each game once. So invariably, what usually happens is if you go to a deciding leg, it's 501. And I have literally told people, just throw at the 14.
Oh, your partner, yeah.
Just throw at the 14, and if I throw some ton 40s and hit the out, we win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a lot of help. I just don't want you to hurt me.
I don't need 7s.
Yeah, I just don't want you to hurt me.
Yeah.
Drunk monkey darts is a 30. If your partner cannot average a 30, the 14s will help.
Yes, right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you're playing cricket, if you assess that your partner is averaging, like, say, 2.5 marks around, don't ask him to close a number. Ask him to point.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll get something out of the 2 marks that he hits. If he tries to close and only hits a 2 mark, you got nothing. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So that kind of thinking I use when I'm playing with, people that
mm-hmm.
don't hit stuff that much.
What's the criticism though that you're degrading them by telling them to throw it?
Oh, well,
at the left side of the board, or
somebody said something to me. I can't remember who it was, and they're like, they're never going to learn to play that way. And I'm like, hey, I didn't take them on to raise. I'm just playing them in a blind draw, and we won.
Well, I
get you're mad.
I would beg to differ that they won't learn to play that way. If they consistently throw it at the 14s and start hitting them, that's going to help their game when they move over to.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you've been playing for a month and you put in $10 to play in a blind draw, and you get me as a partner.
I'm not trying to teach you the game.
I'm not going to give you a manual so you can thump through it while you're reading it. Yeah. I do my standard thing. I'm like, right. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you don't know what to shoot at, just ask me. I'll be happy to tell you.
Right.
And then I watch them play. And if it's obvious that, they can't really hit like a fat 20 or a fat 19, hey, plenty of room at the 14 there. So we lose the cricket, but we win both the 0-1s, we advance.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you got a partner that's having a hard time hitting a 1 count, don't ask him to close. Have him point.
Yeah.
I have won events where I had my partner do nothing but throw at the 20. The entire game. Till they close them. I mean, at least I got 20 points out of that round.
Right.
I mean, what do you
yeah.
The idea somehow that you're going to take a beginner and ask them to hit the same thing, an experienced veteran,
or
somebody
even
been playing 15
or even
years,
just 3 singles, whatever,
But they do. I see people do this, and it's weird because once somebody's been playing for a while, they won't do it. Like I'll, shoot at the bull. I can't hit the bull. Well, you're on 50 with 1 dart in your hand. Take a whack at it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it's just sort of kind of a common sense approach where it's like, but you have to talk to your partner. Like the match we were talking about yesterday, you were talking to the guy's partner, and player A wasn't really saying much of anything. And I'm like, you have to communicate so your partner feels comfortable playing with you, and he buys into whatever it is you want him to do. Right? Because what eventually happened was he wasn't sure what to do, and he threw 3 like really miserable darts because he wasn't. You could just tell he was unsure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're playing doubles with somebody, you have to erase the doubts in their mind as much as you can. That's what cracks me up. Like, you go to a beginner and you say trip 20 and they hit it. Then you go trip 19 and they hit it. Right. And you go double bull and, you know, maybe they hit it, maybe they don't. But, I mean, they're not thinking about anything else.
Wow.
Yeah. They're not thinking about anything else. But I hear people giving advice like, okay, well, what you want to do is you want to go for the 20. Now, if you hit this, then you go here. And if you hit this, then you go here. And I'm like, just tell them one dart.
Right. I mean,
because it's too much,
especially if you're a beginner. The beginner is just listen to me and I'll tell you what to throw at, and that's kind of what he needed in this situation.
It seems like
he needed even if it wasn't, you know, not every dart, but if it was right when he's walking up to the line, hey, I don't care if you hit trip at the first one, throw all 3 of them, you know, and just as simple as that, you know. We need 17s
all day.
I don't care if you trip the first one, throw them all. Don't change. You know, and just a little guidance. He needed a little guidance.
Yeah,
but
there's just. I think that there's a reluctance among some people to play in that manner somehow. Like, I don't know if it offends their sensibilities or they think that it lacks style. And it's like, look, you want to win? This is the only way you can win.
Yeah, right.
Right. You got some hitters, they have to bunt because they can't get the ball out of the infield. So, okay, there you go.
Yeah, and if you don't execute well, so be it, you're not going to win anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like, look, what do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
You want to just chuck my darts in the wall? I mean, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I mean, so it's kind of like, and everybody's been through this. Everybody's been on both sides of it, right? Like when I was coming up, I played with Bam Bam one time in a draw. We were playing 2 really good players. I really had no idea what I was doing, and I was bugging him because didn't really understand what to throw at. So I was probably throwing him off by asking him, well, what'd you do that for? And blah, blah. So finally, he just goes up to me, and he's like, don't think about anything but hitting 16s. And I'm like, okay. Trip 16, and I looked. I couldn't even see a spot of green, and I was like, well, he said 16s, and I kind of went, and I just threw it as hard as I could. It went right in between them for a 9 count, and everybody just stared. And I'm like, how many points is that?
Yeah, right, of course.
And then 3 guys at once say 144, and I'm like, ooh, cool. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I must have annoyed everyone back then.
So
that was the point that I wanted to get to about, you know, how to play with partners. Right? There are some people like we see the game the same way. So you don't really need a lot of conversation, but it just seems to me that when you're playing cricket, if you don't see the game the same way your partner does, either you're going to have a lot of discussions with, you know, occasional disagreements, or it's just going to be this weird mismatched strategy that I've seen fail, you know, time and time again. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I wanted to get to on that. Where are we on time?
We are ready for a break.
All right, we're going to come back and we'll talk Premier League. Our picks were relatively miserable last week, so we'll do a victory lap on that. You're listening to Dart Talk with Mystery Mark, Steve Fonselmo. We'll be right back.
forevermore warned that you consume this show at your own risk, and that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the grand spaghetti monster of the Triple 20.
Okay, back for the fourth quarter of Dart Talk, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators, Redwood Darts, Melissa, Aaron, Sam the intern, anybody else that's helped us out. We do appreciate it. We appreciate you guys for joining us for our little hour, our weekly hour of Dart Talk. Before we get to the Premier League, there was one other thing
yes.
that came out of last night.
The phantom throw.
I don't want any. First off, I don't want any emails about phantom throws anymore. It's all been said. So everybody can have their opinion. I mean, that's fine. I'm tired of people beating up on Scotty Kirchner because he's a nice guy and I like him. However, there was a guy last night that I had not seen thrown, that I hadn't seen throw in years, 2 or 3 years, whatever. And
I saw him last year, and he did the phantom throw. I only know him as doing the phantom throw.
I don't ever recall him doing it when I first saw him play. Okay, so it annoys you.
Oh yeah,
it annoys you. So we're playing, and sure enough, there it is. He gets set. He does his phantom throw.
Really good dart player, though.
Nice guy, good dart player. I mean, so after we're done playing the match and it's all done, what did I say? I said
you just asked him.
I'm like, let me just ask you this. Don't get offended or anything, because I just want to know. Why are you doing this phantom throw?
Yeah, you asked him because he didn't used to do it. So you asked him. I know a few years ago you didn't used to do it, so I'm curious why you're doing it now.
Okay, and what was his response?
His response was, well, it depends on what I'm wearing. If my shirt is too tight, I do it to loosen up my shirt, my shoulder with my shirt. And you said, basically, yes, you don't do it all the time. And he goes, because I saw you with so-and-so. And he goes, and you said, you didn't do it there. And he said, yeah, because I was wearing a V-neck. He was wearing some V-neck shirt, then, it was probably bigger in the shoulders. And
I almost died laughing when you said, why don't you just wear a looser shirt then?
You're going to play darts. Pick your wardrobe out for what you're doing, right? If you're going to go to a play, you're going to wear a nice dress pants. If you're going to go to darts, pick a dart shirt.
It's like you say, because, I don't mean to be confrontational, and I do just want to kind of understand this, but, I wasn't sure that he was really being serious with that. And so we talked about it more. And I was like, why would you emulate that?
Well, you asked him if it helped him.
Does it help you?
Yeah.
And la-di-da-di-da. And
he says it depends on what I'm wearing.
Well, he said that's originally why he does it. But
right.
then, as we talked about it and, as I, tried to probe deeper into his subconscious, as it turns out, my impression was that he had tremendous respect for Scotty Kirchner,
True.
and he's emulating Scotty Kirchner.
Basically, that's what I got out of it, too.
And I'm kind of like, well, why aren't you emulating Michael Van Gerwen? Why aren't you emulating Phil Taylor? Why aren't you emulating these other guys?
Because that's not as close to home.
Well, what he said was, I don't spend a lot of time watching the PDC guys. And it's like, okay, well, that's on you. If you're going to emulate the best guy in your neighborhood or the best guy that you see around, that's incredibly limiting in this day and age where you have access to the entire world on your phone. You're going to limit yourself to the guys you see in the local tavern or playing in the local draw? What kind of thinking is that? 20, 30 years ago, I totally see it.
He doesn't necessarily have the time to sit there and watch the PDC.
It's on YouTube. You don't have to be like me spending 40 hours watching this stuff.
Right.
I mean, I do that
as
a public service for the people who have things to do. But I think it's valuable, the World Championships, so those are great matches.
But But on the other hand, though, yes. But watching it on YouTube and on your phone in a small screen, it's harder to emulate a Van Gerwen by watching that because you're not seeing the whole structure, the body of throwing the darts.
No.
But if you're emulating a guy that's the best in your area and has done decent, he's.
What are you emulating though? I mean, it's like.
Well, I'm not sure why he's emulating.
Does everyone from Jim Furyk's high school swing a golf club like Jim Furyk?
I'm not sure why he's emulating the phantom throw.
Well, that's why I was asking.
Why would you emulate the follow-through
exactly.
or whatever?
Yeah, why? Yeah. And again,
or the lack of shoulder
and
to
he
the
mentioned,
head movement, whatever.
He mentioned, well, this guy does this and this guy does this. And I'm like, well, look, I mean, do you really think it helps you? Because I remember asking Scotty why he did it, and I can't remember exactly word for word what he said, but I got the impression it was mostly just kind of nerves.
Then he
works his nerves out.
He kind of said that a little bit too, this guy last night, but he also really kind of danced around it and said, yes, it helps me, but it's also about nerves, but he wouldn't really give a concrete stance that, that's why I do it, because I think it helps me. Some of it's nerves, some of it's my T-shirt. Or the shirt I'm wearing, some of it is because Scotty Kirchner does it, some of it. So you didn't really have.
Yeah, not everybody's like me or you. You're gonna analyze everything, and to death maybe, and go into all the minutia of a dart stroke, which probably is harmful to a lot of people.
It probably is,
right? I just thought it was just sort of. Because my shirt's too tight.
It was just. I didn't expect that answer.
I would keep a dart shirt in the car.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
you won't be annoyed.
He was wearing a T-shirt that everybody wears these days. It was just it's not constricting. It was just a normal form-fitting T-shirt. So it's kind of tight on the arms, but not really. But it's apparently tight enough when you go to throw a dart. So to him, the phantom throw was the best way to loosen up, but.
I don't see how that's going to help anyway.
He doesn't always wear.
Is it going to loosen your shirt for the next 3 darts? I mean, he was trying. He
doesn't do the phantom throw every dart. So how does sitting around for 2 minutes till you throw next all of a sudden tighten your shirt up, but one phantom throw loosens it up, and then you throw 3 straight darts?
I don't know.
And everything's fine.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was very strange.
I don't know. I just sort of was just kind of like, okay,
but.
Well, I mean,
and anyway, that's when I left the conversation because then it started going around in
circles. Well, because I keep, I don't know. It was just
because his answers weren't getting any different, and
to
whatever question you asked.
It's kind of weird. I mean, I don't mean to interrogate people. He's a nice guy, and it's just sort of like kind of a weird conversation. But okay, let's talk Premier League. Our picks last week were woeful. The results are down in the crawl. If you haven't seen them already, Peter Wright got absolutely pummeled by Dave Chisnell. We both took Peter Wright. Adrian Lewis absolutely buried Barney.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat, I don't know if it was Ralph, was saying that 80 may be back. I can't imagine him playing much better.
No.
What do you average, like a 113?
113
for 8 legs?
Yeah.
So, quick taxi
One match
for Barney.
does not make me back.
Well, Hybrick's got 3 legs off of Van Gerwen. I don't know what the over-under was on that. I if anybody was going to get wiped out, I was going to nominate Hybrick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe he's I don't know. I mean, maybe he's raised his game to, the next step up compared to, say, this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe his improvement's permanent. You see these guys have a good month or so, and I always kind of compare it to the tour. You'd have guys that would have good 3 or 4 weeks, and then kind of they're back in the field for the rest of the year.
Yeah, right.
You see dart players over the season kind of okay, this guy's doing good right now. Taylor has had longer stretches, but then World Championships come and he's not there. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. So that's kind of what I was thinking about Hybricks, but maybe it's permanent. Maybe he's actually improved and he belongs there. I wasn't really sure. I mean, if I was picking 10, I don't think I would have picked him. What was the other one?
Gary Anderson beat Phil Taylor 7-5.
Anderson missed a 138 out, and then Taylor had a whack at tops for a draw.
When you would have had your
that
draw
would have
called
been my
correctly.
brilliant pick. Yeah,
Right.
Thanks, Phil. And what was the last one?
Bunting and James Wade did draw.
6-6. Which, I don't know, the numbers on that one were not, I think they basically both threw exactly the same. Like they threw 95, something like that.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I found really remarkable of, Taylor losing, averaging 104, was he only got 10 shots at a double in 12 legs. Anderson had 21.
Right.
And it was like 7 of 21, which is not very good. So even though Taylor's average is higher, if you take off the doubles, Anderson outscored him consistently.
Sure.
So Anderson is not cooled off. So going into our picks for this week, you got that there? They're down in the crawl. Who's playing who?
We've got Peter Wright versus Gary Anderson.
Okay. Is there any way on earth you would take Peter Wright?
After you just got pummeled?
Yeah. And averaged like in the 80s. Yeah, I mean, can't. There's no way on earth you could take Peter Wright right now. Van Gerwen and Bunting, I don't think Bunting's got it when it comes to playing Van Gerwen. I don't know what you think.
I was trying to. If Hybricks can take 3 legs off of him,
I think Bunting's better.
Can Bunting pull off a draw? I would consider taking a draw on that one.
Ooh, you'd probably get good odds on a draw for that one because I think 4-1. I think Van Gerwen. I'll take Van Gerwen there. You can have the draw, but wow,
I'm gonna take
courageous.
The draw. I'm gonna take the draw on that one.
Okay, so you're gonna take the draw. I'll take
Van Gerwen.
I'll take Van Gerwen.
And we're both taking.
I'll go chalk.
We're both taking Anderson.
Yeah,
Van
chalk.
Gerwen draw for me. Adrian Lewis and Phil Taylor. Basically a pick 'em.
Wow.
Pretty much a pick 'em.
You know what? I wonder if. Well, I don't know. Phil's been playing solid
last year when in the beginning of this that Phil Taylor just goes through the motions and doesn't really play well in the first couple rounds, just advances and then.
Well, last year he was like monkeying around with his darts and stuff.
Right.
He had like a whole new set. He had just gone to Target. I mean, his problem right now is he's missing doubles.
Target?
Target Darts is a big company, there, buddy.
Not that Target.
I know. For the British listeners, we have a chain of department stores in America called Target. There's no relation to the company.
No.
But it's like a big red bullseye is their logo.
Yeah. How convenient.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Phil Taylor, actually.
All right, I'll take 80. I'll take 80. Right. I wonder if it's time, if it's time to really start thinking of the younger guys as being the favorites over Taylor. Not that Taylor's going to lay down and die.
No, but that doesn't mean you're the favorite all the time.
Yeah,
right, sure.
I mean, the 2 years ago, it was like you'd be crazy to bet against Phil, against anyone. Now it's kind of like, well, when you look at 80 and you look at MVG,
it's a level playing field of 50-50 now. It's not a
they've all raised the level of their game. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'll take 80 there.
All right, you got James Wade against Hybricks, Kim Hybricks.
Okay, I'm going to go draw.
Okay,
I'll take that draw.
I'm going to take. I'll take Wade.
Yeah, I don't know. It should be interesting. I mean, I don't know if Hybricks is really a better player or not these days. Mm-hmm. Wade's hard to figure for me. I don't know. I never know what's. He always looks so diffident. He always looks like he'd rather be somewhere else. He doesn't look.
Word of the day, diffident.
I thought awful was. But okay.
Then you got Chizzy against Van Barneveld. Chizzy played really well.
Yeah.
Van Barneveld didn't stand a chance, and I don't know if it was.
He got rolled.
It didn't really because he played all that poorly. The guy just played fantastic.
What are you going to do? I mean, great guy played great. Let's move on to the next week.
Who are you taking?
I don't know. I hate taking Chizzy. I just hate it. But you know what? I'll take Chizzy.
All right, and I'm going to take Van Barneveld only because the way the odds are. You have a guy, Chizzy that won 7-1, and Van Barneveld that lost 1-7, and it's basically a pick'em.
Yeah. Well, I'm just basically going by who seems to be in the best form right now.
Right. I'm going by the odds say that Van Barneveld, who just got wiped, has a better chance of winning, so I'm going to take Van Barneveld.
Well, if
I'm going to play the odds on this one.
Okay. So I'm going against the grain here. I always like that.
Yeah.
All right. So
we're different.
We're different.
Chizzy
okay.
Van Barneveld.
Let's hang on. Let's recap. We're both taking Anderson.
Yes.
You're taking a draw.
Yes.
And I'm taking Van Gerwen.
Right.
I've got 80 and you've got Taylor.
Right. Different.
I've got
draw. And
who did
Wade.
I take?
I've got draw. I've got Wade. You've got draw.
That's my draw.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
And then we're different on Chizzy Van Barneveld.
Okay. So we'll get some separation next week. Well, I should have an interesting report from Huntsville next week, and hopefully some news.
Good luck. I mean, that should be fun. Hopefully,
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, if my
arm holds up,
it's been a while
since you've been in a little major tournament, right?
Yeah, I haven't played a tournament in a while, so I'm looking forward to it. It's always nice people down there. It might be a little cold again, but outside of that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's
you get to
playing
spend Valentine's Day in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yes, and
at a hotel.
And she's going to play with the newcomer of the year.
Oh, good for her. That's right. You told
Liz
me that
Tynan's
last
going
night.
downtown.
Her doubles
going
partner
down to Huntsville.
Could be Liz. Cool.
So it'll be interesting. I think there's a bunch of people from Chicago going, or from the Chicago area, I should say.
Well, hopefully it's warmer than it is going to be here this weekend, but I'm sure.
Drive 10 hours south, it better be warmer. That's all I can say. Or I'm going to be like...
Now you'll be inside.
I'm going to be cranky. I may be cranky anyway. So you got anything?
Good luck to anybody that played the Powerball.
Oh, right. Big money.
Other than that, happy Valentine's Day,
tour.
Which I don't support, but sometimes you have to. And good luck this weekend.
That may get you in trouble. Safe travels to everybody who's going to be on the road this weekend, Friday the 13th. Don't get jinxed.
My favorite day.
I understand that. Trichodecaphobia. What is it?
Trichodecaphobia.
Trichodecaphobia?
The fear of the number 13.
All righty.
I am as far away from that as possible.
You adore that number.
I do adore that number.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll Dart Talk to you next week. Everybody take care. Steve Pennantino. We'll be right back. Play to suit your partner. Volume.
What volume?
On
that volume?
Yeah, that volume.
Let's try that again then.
Dart Talk. And that Dart Talk cannot be brought to justice in any court or by any government, including and not restricted to the grand spaghetti monster of the Triple 20.
It's time for
trapped first 16, and I looked. I couldn't even. He's a nice guy. Like
sell
a
darts
big
there, but I
red
don't think they
bullseye